have 3 scenes here for us to use as example, and all of them has this really strong orange cast. And that is because at night in most of these places in the streets they had a lamps that would emit this orange light, and then I'll have to have my white balance around, let's say 2.8 or 3K. But when I'm traveling and I'm not using my gray card because, run and gun, I like to have my white balance in the way that I would see in comparison to the daylight white balance, meaning that if this was day, I would see it properly, but because it's at night and most of these colors, they have like this really orange cast, I see basically how I'm seeing when I'm there traveling. But of course, that's not always useful, depends what you want. And if you want to change the white balance to pretend that you are seeing these lights as they are neutral, then you do have to follow this kind of simple step, which is just to come here at the chromatic adaptation. And we can understand like this. We have the source illuminant. This is basically what type of light we have here in the scene itself. The target illuminant is how you want to see that light. In this case, I want to see like everything's neutral. So I'll put here color temperature 5500. This current color space in gamma, I just leave as is. You can just put the one you're using. It doesn't matter that much. Just so you understand, I'm using the color management, the color managed color science, but you can use in just the regular YRGB. Why I'm using that is just so I don't have to add an extra step here in my nodes to convert my footage from Rec 709 or from my vlog to Rec 709, because I'm doing directly here with the input color space that I'm using Panasonic V-Gamut Vlog, but that's not the subject of this video. So let's just come here now and finish the setup, which is we're going to choose again color temperature, and basically what would be the ideal white balance if I was here in the scene capturing right now to see it in a more neutral way. That would be basically with my Kelvin, like I said before, around 3000. And there you go. Now, how do I actually see if this is more or less in the ballpark? I'll come here, I'll choose the qualifier, I'll also choose show picker RGB value, and I'll come here in my source, in the main light of source. In this case, it's easier for us because I do have the source light in the video itself. If I didn't have it, I will have to use another point that I can consider as neutral. But in this case, I'm coming here. This is blown out, so everything is going to be in the max. But if I come here, around here, you see that the red is still 250, while the green and blue is around 200. So I need to push a little bit down still. I'm gonna choose around 2400, and then I'll come here again. Still a little bit hot, so come down even more. Now we have a little bit still. Let's go to the minimum, which is 2000, and then we come here, and now we are basically in a neutral zone, meaning that this light, it's illuminating my scene and I'm seeing them as a neutral or a white. So basically that's also illuminating my scene in a more neutral tone. So you see, I'm gonna show you before, after, before, after. For this one, I'm just gonna show you what I did. So I'm gonna push this one here, and I'm gonna close and I'll walk through. Basically I did the whole color grading on top already. So white balance fix, same thing. Now you see it's way more neutral, the overall scene. I also know that this bag from my friend kind of like cyan and not green. So yeah, when I looked at this white balance, I kind of knew that it was basically ballparked in the correct place. And then here just regular color grading, exposure, saturation, color balance, contrast, and sharpening. Of course, if you're working with a 10-bit or 16-bit footage, that would definitely make it easier. If you're using 8-bit, I don't think you can push as much the way I'm doing. But that is basically the process that you go over whenever you have this really wrong white balance.